He threw her into the dirt to break her. But the moment she rose, the entire yard shifted. This isn't just a story about survival. It's about the day one recruit turned humiliation into power and left her sergeant drowning in silence. The morning sun burned over the training field. Heat clung to every recruit, sweat tracing down necks before the day had even begun. Boots scuffed dust into the air, and the dust hung there, waiting, as if it too wanted to witness what was about to happen. Mia stood in the middle row, jaw tight, hands clenched behind her back. She wasn't tall, not bulky, but there was something unbending about her posture. She stared straight ahead, refusing to flinch even when the light stabbed her eyes. Sergeant Keller's boots struck the ground with a rhythm that silenced everything. His presence didn't just command the field, it swallowed it. He walked down the line like a wolf inspecting weak bones. His eyes lingered, calculating until they landed on her. "You?" His voice cracked like a whip. "Step forward." A ripple of unease slid through the line. She obeyed. Her boots hit the dirt, sending up a faint cloud. Every eye followed her. "Name," Keller demanded. "Recruit Mia Daniels, sir." "Daniels." He spat the name. "Tell me, Daniels, what makes you think you belong here?" The question wasn't real. It was a trap. She swallowed and answered anyway. "Because I can endure, sir." Keller laughed, the sound sharp as gravel. "Endure? You think this place is about endurance? This place is about breaking the world before it breaks you." And looking at you, he stepped closer. She caught the stale scent of coffee and rage. "I don't see strength." Her voice was low but firm. "With respect, sir, strength comes in many forms." That flicker of defiance was enough. He barked, "Push-ups. Until I say stop." She dropped instantly, palms slamming into dirt. Dust clung to sweat, coating her arms as she counted out loud. By 30, her arms trembled. By 50, her lungs begged her to quit. Still, she pressed on. At 51, Keller crouched beside her. "They always break," he whispered. But she didn't. Her voice rasped the next number, then another. Finally, Keller snapped. "On your feet." She rose, chest heaving, dust streaking her face. For a second, silence hung like a blade. Then Keller's hand shot out, shoving her shoulder. She hit the ground hard, dirt in her mouth, breath gone. "That's your place," he barked. "Down there, weak, small." The recruits gasped. Mia lay still for a heartbeat, broken watch glinting faintly in the dust beside her wrist. Its cracked glass caught the sun. She pushed against the dirt, slow, deliberate. Knees, then feet. Her legs shook, but she stood straight, brushing the dirt from her cheek. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Her silence told him, "You can throw me down, but you cannot keep me there." The field itself seemed to pause. The recruits shifted, and for the first time, Keller's smirk faltered. The noon sun was merciless. Shadows shrank, and every recruit bent under fatigue. Yet Keller's gaze followed only her. "Drop the pack," he ordered. Mia obeyed, letting the heavy rucksack slam into dirt. "Pick it up." She lifted it again, shoulders screaming. "Drop it." Thud. "Pick it up." The game went on, each repetition grinding at her muscles. 10 times 15. By 20, her back screamed, vision dim at the edges. Still, she moved. The rucksack was no longer a weight. It was a test, a chain, a sentence. Her lips pressed shut. The recruits watched, grateful it wasn't them. Yet something stirred in their silence. "Enough," Keller snapped at last. "Run, full perimeter. Pack stays on." Mia jogged, boots striking dust, lungs burning. The field stretched wide, heat pressing down like a hand. Every step jarred her bones. Her cracked watch bounced against her wrist, its hands frozen at a time that no longer mattered. She thought of the wallet hidden in her barracks trunk, empty, except for a faded photo of her younger brother. That wallet had once held bus money, scraps of pay, hope of something better. Now it was a reminder. She had nothing left to lose. Nothing but this fight. By the time she staggered back, 6 minutes and 42 seconds had passed. "Could be worse," Keller muttered. "Could be better," but she had finished. Not broken. Not begging. His glare seared her. "You'll bleed before you're done here. Crawl, suffer. Because endurance without obedience means nothing." "Yes, sir," she answered, voice steady, though her chest burned. The recruits shifted. They had seen something Keller refused to admit. She had not broken. The afternoon drills dragged on. Sprint, crawl, push. Sweat turned uniforms into second skins. But when Keller barked, his voice rang hollow. His authority was iron, but rust was creeping. That night, Mia lay in her bunk. Her arms ached, her body begged for rest. She pulled the empty wallet from her trunk. The leather was cracked, edges fraying. She touched the photo, her brother's smile faint in the fading print. Her throat tightened. The wallet slipped from her hand to the floor. She stared at the ceiling, chest heavy. Around her, whispers passed from bunk to bunk. She didn't break. She finished the lap. She's different. The whispers crawled through the barracks like sparks, and Keller's shadow stretched longer because of them. The storm broke the next morning. Rain hammered the training yard into mud, but Keller drove them harder, shouting above thunder. "Circle up," he barked. The recruits formed a ring. His eyes locked on Mia, ground. 100 push-ups, her arms screamed from yesterday, but she dropped into mud. 1, 2, 10. By 30, her body shook. By 70, her palms slipped on soaked dirt. At 97, she collapsed face first. Mud filled her mouth. Keller smirked. There it is. The breaking point, but she pushed again. Mud streaked her hair. Her body shook, vision swam, but she rasped. 98, the recruits gasped. 99, Keller's smirk faltered. 100, she collapsed sideways, chest heaving. Mud clinging like armor. "On your feet," Keller barked. Her legs trembled, arms useless. But she rose. Dusty rain dripped from her chin, eyes burning steady. The recruits felt it, a shift in the air. This wasn't just endurance anymore. It was defiance without words. Keller shoved her shoulder hard. She hit the ground again. Gasps erupted. For a moment, silence swallowed everything. Then she rose again, slower this time, deliberate. She brushed mud from her cheek and locked her gaze on him. Her silence cut deeper than any insult. The recruits knew it. Keller knew it. His humiliation was etched into every eye watching. Morning returned with haze. The field stank of wet earth. The recruits lined up, rifles at shoulders. Tension buzzed. "Daniels," Keller's voice thundered. She stepped forward. Without warning, his hand shot for her shoulder. But this time she shifted. His momentum carried him forward. Dust sprayed as he stumbled. Gasps cut the air. She released him instantly, stepping back into place, silent. Humiliation seared him. He lunged again, faster, harder. She sidestepped smoothly, boots steady in the mud. His balance faltered once more. The recruits whispered. She moved like she knew it was coming. Keller roared, voice cracking. "Enough!" But the whispers had already replaced his words. "What was that?" he demanded. Her answer was calm. "Control, sir." The word hit him harder than any blow. Not defiance, not arrogance. Just truth. Her restraint deepened his humiliation. The recruits weren't afraid anymore. They were watching her. The next day, drills came harder. Barbed wire tore sleeves. Sprints bent lungs. Push-ups turned arms to stone. But when someone faltered, they glanced at Mia. And somehow they pushed again. Keller barked, voice raw. "You think endurance makes you special?" It doesn't, but they weren't listening anymore. Their eyes slid to Mia, steady in the mud, rising each time she fell. That night, the storm unleashed. Rain drenched the yard. Keller drove them through it, shouting until his throat broke. Still, she rose. Again and again. By dismissal, every recruit was soaked, mud clinging like armor. They staggered back alive with something new. Pride. In the barracks, whispers were no longer whispers. They were belief. She's the one holding us together. She's proof we can outlast him. Mia sat silent on her bunk, peeling wet socks. She hadn't asked for this, but she carried it now. Across camp, Keller stared through rain-streaked glass. His reflection fractured. His pride had bled into mud, and he could not reclaim it. Morning broke calm after the storm. Puddles glistened across the yard. The recruits formed up, sharper, straighter. They weren't Keller's soldiers anymore. He barked orders, but the weight had shifted. Every stumble reminded them of her rise. Every punishment echoed her silence. By midday, his words rang hollow. "You think endurance will save you?" "It won't, my orders will," but no one bowed their heads. Their silence was unity, not fear. Mia said nothing. Her cracked watch caught the pale sun, frozen hands gleaming. The empty wallet in her trunk waited, silent proof she had nothing to lose. She wasn't stronger, faster, louder. She was simply unshakable, and that was enough. Weeks later, new recruits heard the whispers. The story spread across bunks, mess halls, guard shifts. The sergeant threw her down, they said. But she rose again, and in the end, he couldn't touch her. She became more than a recruit. She became a symbol. Morning came soft, the storm gone, leaving the sky pale and washed. Puddles dotted the training yard, shining like shards of broken glass. The ground was slick with mud, the air thick with the smell of wet earth. Boots squelched as the recruits marched into formation. Their uniforms clung damp to their bodies, rifles steady in their hands. Yet it wasn't Keller they looked to anymore.